Hey guys, this is E with Scrapbooking with Me, and we are going to do something a little bit different today for our Journal Thursday, or Thursday Journal, whatever you want to say. This is an old book cover that I found. I was cleaning out some of my drawers and I found this in there that I had saved. I don't know how old it is. There's no date or anything on it, but I guess you could look up that book name right there and find out. And it's got this in it, and it looks like one of those wax seals. Let's see if you can see it. See that? Isn't that neat? I don't know what it says, but it seems neat. But I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to cover that up. So it looks like a floating spine in it, and this is all loose, so I'm going to have to cut that out, because if I try to glue it down, it's just going to fall apart anyway. So I'm going to cut this part out, and I hate to throw that away, that being old. I may just keep it. And then it's got just some little pieces of paper here that are really just falling apart, and I wanted to try to get some of those off if I could. Behind that is the spine, but it is absolutely coming apart at the seams. So I may not fiddle too much with it. If I see any that's sticking up, I'll go ahead and pull them off, and if not, I'll just let my PVA glue them down. And I'm going to use a piece of fabric to go on the inside across here, so that will hold it nice and tight. This is a piece of canvas, pretty thick canvas, so I will use a piece of this to go across there. And I may not even cut it. I may let it go that far over. Let's see. No, I'm not even going to cut it. I'm probably going to put 2 signatures in here, and this is going to be an ephemera journal, kind of like Rachel made on her channel. I saw her make hers, and when I found this little journal or this little book cover, I thought, well, I'll just make a journal using it. But then the more I looked at it, the more I thought, that might work with those things that I bought the other day that I accidentally bought. You know, the ones that I was supposed to get a different kind, and I got 100 of the wrong ones. I thought, well, this might work for those, and I'll show you in a minute what I'm talking about. These little, they're stick down, and I thought they were a lot bigger than what they were. Well, they ended up being this. I apologize. I thought they were a lot smaller. I thought they were the little short ones where we could put our names on our shelves of the different products. And they ended up being this big. I don't read well. I mean, I can read. I just, most of the time, don't read well. I hurry through. So therefore, guess what you get when you hurry through? You buy the wrong product. I have been finding uses for them, and I have even used some of them on our shelves to mark things. It just has it's a little bit bigger, but it works. Now, some of this is going to go straight through this, because the spine is all torn up, but I didn't want to get rid of the spine. You could cut the spine completely out, but I didn't want to get rid of it. Now, this is PVA glue, and I love PVA glue for doing things like this. It holds well, glues things together pretty quick, and it's going down on my mat, and that's fine. It'll wipe up off of my mat, no problem. Now, you could do the same thing and make this into a journal cover. It would be the same difference. But I want to make sure this is pulled out as far as it'll go, so I don't accidentally have wrinkles in there. Okay. Now I'm going to wipe this up because I don't need that. And I'm going to put something else there, so I'm not worried about that glue showing. Usually it doesn't, the PVA glue doesn't show anyway, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. And then I'll use my bone folder to go down through here and just make sure that it's pressed down well. I put a lot of PVA glue on there, didn't I? And that's how that's how the outside looks, which is fine. We don't mind that extra glue on there. But I am going to lay that aside and I'm going to clean this up. Now I'm going to turn it this way. And I think I'm going to put this vintage piece of lace on there because I've had this for a while. Someone gifted it to me. And I've just got a little piece of it left, and it's probably enough to do this. But I think I might go ahead and put a little piece of this fabric down through there first, because I'm just afraid that that lace by itself won't hold it all together. But I am going to make this narrower because I don't want it to stick out further than the lace does. So let's see, maybe this will be a big enough piece. I may need to cut it down just a little bit more. And these little pieces that I'm cutting off of here, what I do is I use these pieces for toppers. Like those little pieces for toppers on my tags. Right, I think that's going to be the right width. Yeah, our lace will cover that up. So thank you guys for all of the sweet comments that you left Brooklyn on her little video yesterday. She was so excited, and she forgave me since I didn't get it up on time. She forgave me because I showed her all the comments and everything, and she said, "Oh, Nene, you finally got it up and people really liked it." So she's happy. And I tell you, I don't know, Nene's brain, half the time it don't work right. Or maybe I should say 99% of the time it doesn't work right. Some days I completely forget what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm going to put a little bit out through here just to make sure that I have a little glue right there to glue that edge down. And I'll just smush that with my fingers. I don't mind getting glue all over me. I'm about out of this PVA glue, and I have ordered another one. I had someone ask what PVA glue did I use, and the one that I showed them on Amazon that I usually order, it has been out for a while. I don't know if they've quit carrying it, quit making it, I don't know what, but anyway, it's been out of stock. So I finally found one that I think you should be able to find. I found it easily, so I'll link it below so you can go over and check that one out. Okay, so that is going to be the little piece on there. So there is our spine all fixed up. Like I said, this lace is going to go over the outside. I love that lace. I hate to use that last piece, but I'm going to use it on here. And I don't even think I'm going to cover this. I'm going to leave my covers just like they are. I love that old vintage look. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, isn't that a wolf? You know, guys, I'm not good with stuff. My granddaughter Presley loves wolves. So I think that's what that is. I'm going to show it to her when she comes over and she can tell me if that's a wolf howling at the moon. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside and let it be drying a little bit, because we're not going to be able to cover a spine in that. We're not going to be able to put our signatures in that until it does dry. And then try to get some of these little strings up from here. Okay, now what I chose for my signatures, I think it's the same thing that Rachel did. I'm not sure. I can't remember what she used for her signatures, but I'm just using scrapbook paper. I'm just using pieces of scrapbook paper, and I even used the top portion that had the little hole in it, because that won't matter at all. So just grab your scrapbook paper or your scrap paper, whatever you've got. I wanted to use this because it's stronger. It's a lot stronger than regular paper. So that's why I chose to use this one. And I think I'm going to turn that like that. Now I have no idea if I put them where they're the right way up or the wrong way up. So we're going to go through here right quick. And I'll tell you what size I cut these. And you can cut yours the size that will fit in your book cover. And I cut these a little bit smaller. Oh, I can't tell if that one's the right way up or upside down. I think that's right. I cut these a little bit smaller as far as the height is concerned because I wanted them to fit in my journal to where I had some extra room at the top in case I wanted to put a big ephemera piece there. It wouldn't stick out so much. But also the reason I cut them this height is because I wanted to be able to get 2 of them out of one sheet of 12 by 12 scrapbook paper. So I cut them at, let's just see, they're cut at 6 1/4. And that's why I left the top on there. I didn't tear that little top off. They had the little hole in it. Or you might have some that have the little place where you could cut them off. This usually is like a barcode or something up there. I left that on so I could cut them at 6 1/4 and they would work. And then I cut them this way at 10 inches. And then I folded them. Okay, looking at the butterflies, I can tell I had that upside down. Now, then I folded them in half, so that makes a 6 1/4 by a little over 5 inch this way. So that's going to be big enough for me to put, I can either put 2 of these on there like this, or I did get a few of these. I don't have many, and they're the little short ones though. They're the ones that we use in the shop to label our shelves. So I could put a, you know, a big one at the bottom and then one of these up here. It's really, really short. It's not, but I don't know. This is not even an inch, I don't think. No, it's maybe 7/8. So that's why I thought I'd put one of those up there. And then maybe one of these bigger ones down at the bottom that would hold a lot more. These are not exactly the width that I need, but you know, I've got, let's see, I've got 8 pages in each signature. So what is that, 72 sides? I think that would be more than plenty to do what I need to do in this journal. Alright, let's see. That will hold lots of ephemera. I don't want those 2 back to back, so let's, I just cut them and laid them together. I didn't really sort anything. I'm going to take that one out and put it closer to the back. Just make sure I got them the right way up, because that does matter usually. Of course in this it probably wouldn't, but we'll do it anyway. And some of my papers are pretty bright, and that might not be what you want to use, but I don't think it will matter once we get our plastic sheets on there and we're able to put some ephemera in there. I don't think it'll matter. Like this one's going to be pretty bright, but once I put my sheet there, my little plastic pouch there, and put my ephemera in it, I think it'll be fine. So that's what we're going to do with those. Okay, I have made sure that both of those are the right way up. So now we're going to get our needle and thread, and let's see, we're going to have to wait a little while for this to dry. So let me just lay that aside, get everything else together, wait a little while for that to dry, and then we'll come back and put our signatures in. All right, this is pretty well dry, but I realized when it dried that I should have put a piece of chipboard under this in order to make my spine a little bit stiffer. I didn't want it quite so flimsy, and I didn't, so we're going to fix that. I have got another little piece of fabric, and I cut a piece of chipboard. I cut it a little bit narrower than what my spine is, so that when I wrap this around, it will still fit down in there. And I'm just going to wrap that piece and then glue it in there. That is all there is to it. And I'm probably just going to use my PVA glue on this as well. You can always fix it. And this is not going to hurt a thing to put this in here like this. Matter of fact, it'll even make it a little bit stronger than it was. Okay. And I go overboard with the glue, so I'm just gonna try to, I don't need to center it up that much. I just want to have enough on both sides to wrap around. And looks like I do. And then we're going to take our bone folder. I'm going to move that so I don't get glue all over it. And I'm just going to press that excess glue out and make sure it's pressed all the way out to the edges. Whoops. I just pulled that up, didn't I? You can pull it up until it dries well, so keep that in mind. Put some PVA glue on this side. And then we will be back in business again. I could have gone ahead and put my signatures in, but it would have had a real flimsy spine, and I didn't want that. I like for my ephemera journals to be, the spines to be kind of sturdy. So that's why I didn't go ahead and finish that up before I put this in there. It felt better before it dried, but when it dried, it was like, I thought, nah, I'm not going to do that without putting a piece of chipboard in it. Because that would have probably not made me happy later on. Now, I had gone ahead and marked my little places on there, but that's okay. We can mark them again. So I'm just going to glue that down like that. And I want a good amount of glue on here. I want this to stick well. Of course, I usually get way too much. I'm going to spread it out with my finger. That was the paintbrush before the paintbrush, wasn't it? Let me know if you have made an ephemera journal yet. I have made plenty of them, and I can link all of my videos. It's a playlist. I've got them all in one playlist. Now I'm going to make sure that that goes down in between where my spine creases are right there. So I'm going to put it down this way, put it down that way, make sure that it's right in the middle. And we'll press that down real well. Right. Now that, when that dries, that will be a nice sturdy spine. But I don't need to fool with it until it does dry completely. So we're going to leave it sitting there for a while. And then we'll decide what we want to put on here. On the back, I'll probably just put an old vintage book page. But here, and I might put a part of a book page, but I'm thinking about putting a pocket too. But I'm going to leave that. I don't know what that says. Maybe one day we'll be able to read it. Don't know what it says, but hey, wait a minute. I can scrape a little bit of that off the top of that writing. Let's do that. Yeah, that's what that is. That is, it is just a stamp, one of those. Yeah, that is just one of those stamps like you use. Look at that. Now you can read it probably. Kaufman, Wolf, Hammond, I guess in Indiana, maybe, I don't know. So I guess that was their seal. That's pretty good. Pretty neat, but I don't want to cover that up at all. So let me find a piece of book page that I want to put back here, and we can go ahead and do that while this is drying. Okay, I think I'll use this page right here. I'm going to tear this ragged part off. Oh, Life in Kentucky. Or Life in Kentucky. Not oh, Edith. Let's tear that little bit off. And I'm thinking this is a book page that Gail sent to me. Thank you so much, Gail. This looks like a very old one. And the older they are, the better they are to glue down, because if you glue them solid, it's a lot better, because you don't have to worry so much about, you know, if you're using them for a pocket or something like that, they might crack, some of them. So I like gluing the old ones solidly down, straight down to something. That way, if they do crack or anything like that, you've got something behind it that'll kind of protect it. And I'm going to put a little of this on there. I put my glue stick first. Then I'm going to put this. And maybe that's going to give me lots of extra protection there. Don't want my page to tear or come up. Alright, yeah, I like that. Now this, I didn't glue quite far enough, so we're going to go ahead and put our glue under there. Well, I'm almost finished with this. I may have to grab my other one before I finish. Yeah, this is running out. Let's just spread it out best we can, and if I still need more, I'll grab my other one. I think this will do it. Yeah, that should do. And then I'm just going to take my bone folder again. I'll make sure I press that down into there, into the book cover, and then I really press all the glue out to the edges, because you don't want your edges to come up. I could go ahead and put a bucket. A bucket. I could go ahead and put a bucket. I could go ahead and put a pocket on the back of this too if I wanted to. And I might, I don't know. Just looking at that, I like that. Okay. So that's nice. Now on the front part, we'll grab this other piece and let me tear off the edge. I'm not going to cover that little stamp up, so don't worry about that. Tear off that rough edge. And then I think I will just tear this top part off too. And we'll save that. Tempest and Sunshine's what it says on the back. I don't know about that book. I haven't read that I know of. Okay. I think I'm going to go just like that, and I'm going to tear a little bit of that bottom off just so that it doesn't hang over. There we go. Yeah, we can put that down just like that. And then I'll still have my little stamp, and I'll put something else over here, you know, a little label or something. I'll do something different with it. I think I'm out of my glue stick. I think I'm gonna, yep, it's all the way down to the bottom. That's what I like about these glue sticks. They go all the way down to the bare nothing. I mean, when they run out, they are completely out. You don't even have to gouge any out of the bottom, because I hate to waste glue. But when they run out, it's nothing left. Okay. Now let's put some of this on there. And, you know, this may be double doing, but I just like to make sure that it sticks. And I'm not going to be able to put any of that on there, because guess what? I'm out. So we'll grab this new one. This is the PVA glue that I have started using because I couldn't find the other. It's pH neutral PVA glue, and I'll link it below. I'm telling you, I'm a glueaholic, right? Okay. Just don't want any wrinkles to be in there, so I'm pressing it down, but I'm being very careful because I could tear this book page if I get glue on this and then press hard. It could tear it. So I'm being like that right there, like I just did. I just did, but I pressed it back up, so it'll be alright because my pocket's going to go there anyway. I'm just a heavy hand when it comes to glue. Don't put that much glue on yours. It doesn't take that much. Edith just don't know when to slow down and stop. Yeah. I got a little piece right there, so you know what I'm going to do? I am going to grab another little piece of book page, and I am just going to patch it. Nobody will know unless you tell them. I don't even have to do this, but I'm just showing you how I'll fix it. But you don't even have to do this part. And what I will do is, and I'm trying to figure out which glue I'm picking up, I will put my glue on the back of this. You can leave it just like it is. Nobody is going to know. And even if they see it, it's not a big deal. But instead of doing that, I am going to take this little piece and I'm just lining it up as best I can. And then I'll press it down with my dry cloth. And there we go. It's all patched. And you can see the glue through there. That means I got way too much. So don't glue like I do. But it'll dry. It will dry. Now I'm going to set this aside and let it dry because if I don't, I'll end up tearing all of these pages. Okay, I've changed mats on you again. I just put this mat down because this is an old mat that I used to poke holes and everything in. I've got my little marks made where I want to put my holes for my signatures. I'm going to put 2 signatures in. And all I did was use my center ruler. You can use the one that we made, or you can use the Tim Holtz ones, whichever one you have. And I found my center this way, which is right there. And then I found my center this way, which is right there. And then I just marked 1/4 of an inch out each way. So there's a quarter, and then I went ahead and done the same thing up here, found my center, marked out 1/4 and 1/4, and then down here. And this is exactly, if you mark the center there, it's 2 inches up and 2 inches down. So that's how I mark mine. And I've got in my playlist of journals, you'll see me do this from start to finish without, you know, I do it on camera, in other words. So I'm just going to poke my holes in here. This is my awl. And it's still moist enough that I don't have any problem getting my awl through there. So it probably would have been better to let it dry a little bit longer. But, you know me, I have no patience. Now, all I'm doing is just keeping my fingers out of the way and poking holes. There we go. Make sure they all went through. Looks like they did. Okay. Now, I noticed this tried to pop up a little bit when I was poking the hole. So I'm going to grab my art glitter glue that's got that little fine tip. And I'm going to press that down real well. And I will put this under a book tonight. Right now I'm trying to get the video done so I can show you how it's done. Or how I'm going to do it. Not how it's done, how I'm going to do it. But let yours dry a little bit longer. Don't do like me and be so impatient. But this is not going to go anywhere once I get everything stitched in anyway, so not too worried. Now I'm going to do the same thing with my signatures. I'm going to find my center, use my little zero center, And looks like right there is my center. And then I'm going to mark up 2 inches and then down 2 inches and put me a little mark there. Do the same thing on this one. I went ahead and clipped them together a little bit ago. 2, let's see, yep, right there. Made sure I didn't move it. 2 inches up, whoops, and 2 inches down. I've even got the ruler sticking to my finger now. And then I'm just going to go ahead and poke holes in these. And I'm going to use our journal tool to poke holes in these because it'll press all the pages down in there real well. And this is the e-journal tool if you want to grab one of them. It marks your center for you right there. And then it's, I think that's 2.5. So all I'll do is I'll slide my little mark up to where I line it up with that hole. You can do that by just eyeballing it. And then I'll slide it down and do the same thing. There we go. That just makes it easier for me to poke my holes because it presses everything down in that little crevice. There. Move it up a little. Not much. Just a little. About 1/2 inch because that's, I think that's a 2.5 inch space instead of 2. But we're making a little journal, so we're going to move it. Okay. I think actually those are sold out right now, but Benji is working on more, so we should have more in by tomorrow afternoon anyway, hopefully. Alright, let's go ahead and stitch our signature in. I'm going to start at the back. This is going to be the back signature. Just going to make sure I got it the right way up. And let's go ahead and thread our needle. I'm using our brown wax thread and one of our blunt end needles. And I'm going to go down in the center hole and then go out through that center hole. And then I'm going to come back up through that hole right there at the top. And since this is still a little bit wet, I'm just kind of taking it easy on it. I'm not trying to force things and bend it too much. There we go. I knew there was a hole there. I just had to find it. Then go all the way up to the top and go back out. Okay. Pull that through. And the only reason I'm struggling with this a little bit, I will tell you, is because I didn't let everything completely dry. Let it all dry and you won't have any problems. And you can, I always open my hole up if I have problems. I just open it up a little bit more. Make sure I didn't split my thread, and it doesn't look like I did. It doesn't look like I did. And then we'll go back up through the center hole. Now, this thread that you just brought up, oh come on, come out, there we go. This needs to go on the opposite side of the one that's running all the way down. And I'm going to pull that back through some because I don't need that much to tie. Don't want to waste it. There we go. And then we shall tie this. I'm just going to pull it nice and tight. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off because then it won't get in my way. Okay, make sure it's nice and tight. You don't want your signature sliding around when you got your goodies in there. And also make sure that it's the right way up. It looks like mine is, but always check that. I have been known to do it upside down. Okay, now I'm cutting those strings off because I don't need those strings on there. And then I'm going to clip this one out of my way so it won't be popping up my face. See, I've got this little bit popping up right here, but I'll put glue under that when I get the signatures in there. Okay, that's the right way up. So we're going to thread our, I wonder if that's going to be enough. I think it will. We're going to try it. Go back down through the center and then go through the center hole there. And pop up. And then come all the way up to the top. Gonna go through that hole. It's sliding out of my hand. Now, if you have problems coming up through that hole, just put your awl back through it. Put it back through your signature. These are pretty sturdy pages, so they're not as easy to put in as your pages that are made from digitals. There we go. Then let's go back up through here. Back up through our center. There we go. Alright. Now, I like to look on the outside just to make sure that I haven't got anything stuck under there that would hinder it from being tight. And then I pull the strings both ways and I tighten them down as much as possible. And then I tie that thread nice and tight. This is wax thread, so you're not going to break it. Put that off. Then you should be able to take all your little clips off and see what we got. Okay, now my signatures are sticking out a little bit. I probably will trim them off. I probably did not allow for that. So if yours are sticking out some, you can either trim them or you can leave them just like they are. I don't know. Who knows what I'll do. If they're sticking out a tiny bit, and it's just where I put so many together. And this is a very thick scrapbook paper. So I'll probably just go down through there with my X-Acto knife and trim those edges off. I don't mind if it sticks out a little bit. That doesn't bother me. But that is it. And as you can see, I left it a little bit of room at the top and the bottom. Because when I put my little pieces in here, and I have a long piece of ephemera at the top, that'll just keep it from sticking out of there. I may have put way too many pages in here, but we're gonna let it be. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put one down just to show you what I'm gonna do, and then I'll probably do the rest of them off camera, because if I put one down, you guys are gonna know exactly how it's doing. Let me grab one here, one of these. Now these things are so sticky, and they come with a little card in them. These do. I'll take that little card out. But once you put these down, you can't pull them up without tearing your paper all to pieces. So I'm just going to put it down like that toward the center, and there we go. So our little ephemera pieces would go in there like that. And then at the top, I thought we would put one of these smaller ones. I don't know how many of these I've got left. We used a lot of them in the store. But I might use what I have left. Let's see. I think we can put it right there. Maybe that's straight. It'll be easier for me to put those on when I'm not on camera because I can get up over it. But see, there we can put our little ephemera pieces in there as well. So I'll do that on all the pages. Right now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue this down. I'm going to put this under a book, this part right here, and let this dry really, really good so this piece won't be popping up. And it wouldn't be if I hadn't have decided I wanted to go ahead and put signatures in without waiting for it to dry. But like I said, that piece is not going to go anywhere anyway because I've got it stitched in now. So, but I just don't want it sticking up. So see, it's down now, and what I'll do is I'll clip it, and then I'll put a big heavy book on top of it. I'll just lay it right across there. And by tomorrow, it should be glued down well, and I won't have any problems with it. Let's see. The back's not really doing that, but I think I put extra glue on the back, so. Alright, there is our little journal. I love that wolf. And then I'll put my piece of lace on there tomorrow when everything on the inside dries. Now, it may be tomorrow and it may be the next day. I don't know exactly when. But yeah, I think I'm just going to trim off these little pieces that are sticking out here. See, I've got a few little ones, and that's all I'm going to trim. I don't mind if the rest of it sticks out. It doesn't bother me at all. Alright guys, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that gives you an idea of maybe some little books that you have around home that you can do this with. Just grab some old scrapbook paper. It needs to be a paper that's kind of strong so that it'll hold your pieces of ephemera up. And make you a little ephemera journal. Alright, we'll talk to you guys later. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Bye-bye.